Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We hope everyone is having a great night tonight. Welcome to Studio 32, right here in Torrance, the studio of our good friends Andy and Renee. Yes, we're bringing you a live stream performance for the South Bay Community Concert Association. And this is your first time watching a live stream show. We're having a great time. We're putting on 3 for you this fall. We did one in September with a country western band, Boomer McLennan. Tonight, we've got singers, songwriters, and storytellers, The Halls, and in November, we have a musical comedy group. We're putting on these shows because, as you know, many charities have had a hard time last year and this year with putting on live performances. For 50 years, South Bay Community Concert Association has put on performances at the Redondo Union High School Auditorium. Fortunately, we had to cancel them all last year, and we couldn't schedule any this year till next spring. And we just couldn't wait to bring our supporters quality entertainment. So what did we do? We called up our good friends Andy and Renee, who'd been putting on live stream shows during COVID. And then we called up some very reliable, professional musicians and entertainers that we knew and put on these 3 shows for you this fall. So at intermission, we're going to tell you a little more about being able to buy tickets for our auditorium shows next spring and how to donate to South Bay Concerts, because we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and all this information will be on our website at sbconcerts.org. So without further ado, we'd like to bring you the Halls, Laura Hall, Rick Hall, and their prodigal son, Luke. Take it away.
Well, thank you, Jeff. That's quite an intro there. You ready?
Hello, everyone in live stream land. We're glad to be here.
We're so glad to be here. And for our small but mighty audience here. Yeah. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We were trying on our wings, looking up to the sky, not a thought in our heads that it might be hard to fly. We lived in a house, painted like a birthday cake, near the edge of town, out by the lake, making music on the front porch in the afternoon shade. Play along if you wanna, it's something or other in the key of A. On our front porch, we had a fine assortment of mismatched chairs. On our front porch, friends would show up from everywhere. With someone on the banjo or your beat up guitar, swapping songs and passing around that old fruit jar. On our front porch. One night I ran off into the dark. I can't even remember what set fire to that spark. You came chasing after, you found me on the ledge. You talked me down from that cold, sharp edge, back on the front porch, in the warmth of the candlelight. I couldn't say what had been wrong, but I knew that I would be alright. On our front porch, we had a fine assortment of mismatched chairs. On our front porch. side, had a few loose boards, but everything good happened on that front porch. Our front porch, our front porch. We had a finest summon mismatched chairs on our front porch, our front porch. Friends that show up from everywhere, with someone on the banjo or you beat a guitar, swapping songs and passing around that old fruit jar on our front porch. Yeah, we were swapping songs and passing around that old fruit jar on our front porch. Thanks so much. Thank you. All right, now we move from the front porch in that song to the back porch in this next one. 1, 2, and 3. There's a big yellow dog lying on the back porch, sleeping in the warm sun, in no hurry to go. And there's a fat black cat sitting on a fence post, looking like she knows something we don't know. Here's little on me, wonder what I'm gonna do, 'cause every time I think of you, I fall apart. There's a mockingbird singing as the sun goes down, just about breaks my heart to hear him call. The moon comes up, the pretty little stars come out, the pull of love tugs at us all. Here's me and the dog, we're howling at the great big moon and singing the same sad tune, but something's gonna change. The sun comes up, the world goes around. That fat black cat, she got nothing to say. But me and the yellow dog, still here on the back porch. I figured something new was on its way. So much. I can't tell you, like most of us performers, you know, we haven't played for real humans. I mean, real humans on the other end of the internet, I should put it that way. But
We've
for
done so many alien shows, Laura.
Yes, exactly.
The aliens love us, so.
But for humans in the room with us, so it's so lovely to see your smiling faces, you all.
That's right. Performing on Zoom, for instance, can be a little bit like performing in a vacuum, you know, because you don't know. Are people just like making a ham sandwich in the background or turning off their picture and going to the bathroom?
Yes,
Which
there's that.
a friend of mine told me a story. He was on Zoom and didn't realize his camera was on, and he cleaned his bathroom, was getting filthy, so he took off his clothes. So he was cleaning his bathroom in the nude. They had to turn off his camera for him. So that will not happen tonight, folks. No.
Yeah, we will not be taking our clothes off during anywhere in the portion.
As many times as Jeff has asked me to.
Luke might, but.
You don't have to pay me.
So Rick and I met actually working in the theater. We worked at Second City together. It was how we met way back in the day in Chicago. So this is a song that's set in a theater. It's sort of about people pretending to be what they're not.
But it's not about us.
But it's not about you. No, it's not at all about you not being who you say. No. Here we go. 2, 3, 5. Life was bad, then it got worse. Hope things are looking up by the second verse. But until then, we gotta get through the first. Life was bad, it got worse. Might get better, but it just might not. We're imperfect characters in a jumbled plot. We knew our lines once, then we forgot. Might get better, just might not. Ever since your opening debut, none of your lines are ringing true. Same old story, nothing new. Meanwhile, I'm waiting in the wings, missing every cue. You make your entrance, then I miss mine. We can't seem to follow the storyline. From the comic to the divine, you make your entrance, I miss mine. Let's hope the ending is gonna cheer us up, instead of the drinking from this bitter cup. As long as the second act doesn't run amok, maybe the ending gonna cheer us up. Ever since your opening debut, none of your lines are ringing true. Same old story, nothing new. And meanwhile, I'm waiting in the wings, missing every cue. The lights go down, the curtains close. The audience has headed home. The music vanished in thin air, and with a puff of smoke, you disappear. Ever since your opening debut, none of your lines are ringing true. Same old story, nothing new. Meanwhile, I'm waiting in the wings, missing every cue. Same old story, nothing new. I'm waiting in the wings, missing every cue. Waiting in the wings, missing every cue. Thank you. Thanks so much. All right, I'm going to move to the piano.
You know, I used to think that Laura wrote all the love songs about me since we are married. And one time we were on stage and she had a song about the first kiss. This first kiss, it was so fantastic, and it opened up her eyes. And on stage, I said to her, I said, honey, who's that song about? And she said, So the audience and I found out at the same time, the love song was not about me.
It was about a friend. All right. So the first 3 songs have all been originals, and some of them that I finished during the pandemic because, of course, we had a lot of time. But here's a few that you'll know. You ready?
I'm so ready.
Someone told me long ago there's a calm before the storm.
I know it's been coming for some time. When it's over, so they say, it'll rain a sunny day. I know, shining down like water. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Till forever on it goes, through the circle fast and slow. I know it can't stop, I wonder.
Yesterday and the day before.
Sun is cold and the rain is hard, I know. And it's shining down like water. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Have you ever seen rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen rain coming down on a sunny day? Coming down on a sunny day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I wrote that one. Okay, this next one, when you figure out what it is, sing along. Why not? What the heck? You're part of the audience. You're part of the show, as far as I'm concerned. There are really people here on live stream. People. There are really people. Yeah. Okay, there are only 3 people, and they've got it on a loop. That clapping. No, I'm kidding.
1, 2, 3.
Do you know what it is yet? Trailer for sailor rent, room to lend 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, and it's boxcar midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Old worn out suit and shoes, I don't pay me no union dues. I smoke old stogies I have found. Well, they're short, but not too big around. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. I know every engineer on every train. I know all of the children and all of their names, every end out in every town. And I know every lock that ain't locked when no one's around. Trailer for sailor rent. I just loved her song. Room to lend, 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got me no cigarettes, and it's 2 hours of pushing broom by Sunday. But 12 4-bedroom, I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. Yeah.
You're cracking me up there, Rick.
Oh, yeah, I was enjoying your solo and I forgot. Oh, I've got to sing again. Okay, I got to tell you, Luke told me after we ran through that rehearsal that, what did you hear once, Luke?
It's basically I always think of Columbo whenever I hear that.
Columbo. I smoke old stogies I have found. You're short, but not too big around. Never mind.
I have to tune here for a minute.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to tell that before I sang the song because you wouldn't. Oh, I'm supposed to play again. Hey, people, I'm a professional.
So this is another one that I wrote during the pandemic, and it's about being in high school when you think you're going to live forever. Ah, remember those days. And then, sometimes life, well, of course life treats you otherwise because, no one has been immortal. And yet somehow we think we are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Me and my friends with nowhere special to go, just cruising around in my cousin's Camaro, against the wind playing on the radio. We're singing along as loud as we wanted, all through the night until the dawn. Then breakfast at a greasy spoon, laughing and yawning. We slept like babies all through the morning and long past noon. We were immortal then, we were gonna live forever. Time couldn't catch us. We would never let ourselves grow old. We'd never let ourselves grow old. We were immortal then. We were immortal then. We'd be the ones who were gonna beat the clock. We'd keep on running. We swore we would not ever be like our parents. We'd never stop for anything or anyone. But the fading afternoon came much too fast. It happened happen so soon. We tried to make it last. Before we knew it, the moment had passed, never to come back again. We were immortal then. We were gonna live forever. Time couldn't catch us. We would never let ourselves grow old. We'd never let ourselves grow old. We were immortal then. We were immortal then. We were immortal then. We were immortal. Lying on your sleeping bed as the summer turned to fall, stars stretching to eternity. We were gonna count them all, 'cause we were immortal then. We were gonna live forever. Time couldn't catch us. We would never let ourselves grow old. We'd never let ourselves grow old. We were immortal then. We were immortal then. We were immortal then. We were immortal. Thank you. Thanks so much. So, I was a writer first. I actually found some of my journals from like middle school and high school. I was writing poems and songs back then. You would have thought my life was awful. There was a lot of angst going on. I guess it's the nature of being 13.
You were
know.
like the female Morrissey.
Yes.
So much everything.
And there were, a lot of songs about like roses in the snow and drops of blood. And, I was very dramatic. But I had to learn how to be a performer. I started as a writer. This guy,
What?
he was a performer first, for sure. And, it's not surprising he grew up to be an actor, and he's a storyteller, and he has a podcast where he tells stories. And so he's going to tell you a story now about being a performer.
What?
Going all the way back to third grade. Yeah, so here's a story called Julius Caesar.
Leave my stage area, people. I need to be alone. So, when I graduated from high school, my plan was to go to college. That was my plan. I didn't make any plans. I had not sent any applications in. I had not checked out schools. But luckily, a couple weeks after I graduated, I got a call from Chip Marchetti. He was the wrestling coach at McMurray College, which was 45 miles away from my farm in central Illinois, and he wanted to recruit me for wrestling. And it was perfect, because McMurray had everything I wanted. They were at college. I wanted that. They were 45 miles away. I'd never been away from home, so that's good. And they wanted me. So that was enough for me. No scholarship or anything, private school in the middle of Illinois, and my parents had to shell out all the money, but it was perfect. It was perfect. Now, I grew up on a farm, so I was always good with animals. I thought I was going to be a veterinarian. I was going to get all my pre-veterinarian classes out of the way, except my first semester at school, I auditioned for a play and got cast. And then after that, I auditioned for the next one and the next one, and I kept getting cast. Until the middle of my sophomore year, I declared myself a theater major, which thrilled my parents. Because they knew as a veterinarian, you just never know where your next paycheck is coming from. No, actually, Seriously, they were very supportive. I think my mom secretly wanted a performer in the family. And my dad, my big, quiet farmer dad, said, well, you're good at that stuff. You should probably do it. Bang. I went to McMurray College and did pretty well there. I got my education. But the thing is, nobody grows up on a farm. Where I grew up, nobody grows up to become an actor. But I really should have seen it coming, because when I was younger, when I was in 3rd grade, we had the Christmas show at our grade school, and the choir director picked me to sing a solo. I sang "I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus." Morally, I had some problems with the song, though, because at that point, I still believed in Santa. And I couldn't imagine, okay, the one line, oh, what a laugh it would have been if Daddy had only seen Mommy kissing Santa Claus last night. Okay, what would be funny about Santa getting his ass kicked by my dad, huh? And guaranteed we wouldn't get any gifts that year, and he'd never come back to our house again. But I sold it, man. I was a chubby little farm boy. I was cute as hell. So then my mom decided that I needed to take voice lessons because she wanted to develop this talent, I guess. And there's one lady in town, Betty Carrico. She taught piano and voice, and I took classes from her. And we had a recital in the spring. And for some reason, Betty thought the great song for a little chubby 10-year-old boy to sing, a little 10-year-old farm boy, would be Frank Sinatra's My Way. I had no reference for this song. I've lived a life that's full. I was 10 years old. My life was okay, but it wasn't full, for crying out loud. But I played the drama of the song until I got to the very last, the big ending. And my mom stood up on the front row with her Kodak Instamatic camera with a little square cube, and she stood up, and I turned to my mom and I went, I did it Mom's way. She got so flustered she never got the shot. But really, my acting career really budded in 6th grade when Mrs. Rhodes cast me as Julius Caesar in the play Julius Caesar. Oh yeah, the title character. And I didn't know much about theater, but I assumed if you're playing Julius Caesar in the play Julius Caesar, that you get the last line in the play. You may not know this, but Julius Caesar doesn't make it to the end of the play. I certainly didn't know it. And when we got our script, by the way, it was an abbreviated version. It wasn't the whole thing. We were going to do it after the PTA meeting, right, one night. So I got my script, and I went right to the end to see what my big dramatic last line was. And I'm like, wait, Octavius and Mark Anthony are talking about me in the 3rd person. I'm not there. And I start thumbing back. Julius Caesar dies way before the end? What kind of crappy play is this? Who's this Shakespeare guy? What does he know about writing? You don't kill off the hero before the... Oh. So I went to Mrs. Rhodes and I talked to her about it, and she explained to me that how important Julius Caesar was. Throughout the play, you had to have Julius Caesar. I knew it was kind of baloney, but you know what? Even at a young age, I knew the show must go on. So I did my lines. I got ready. That night, we were waiting backstage. The PTA meeting was going on, and as soon as it ended, the curtains opened, and the faculty and our parents oohed and awed because we were in our real Roman attire, our costumes that our moms had put together, which were most of them a sheet draped over one shoulder with a belt. A couple people had bathrobes, and Bill Cook, who was playing Brutus, was wearing his sister's nightgown. Okay, on a side note, he said it was his sister's nightgown, but it fit him very well. So, and then we all had sandals on. Those of us who had sandals at home, we didn't have sandals, so unfortunately, anytime Julius Caesar made a big cross across the stage, you could barely hear my dialogue over the flipping of my flip-flops slapping against my feet. But everything was going well, and we got to the part where everybody gangs up on Julius Caesar and stabs him, which I don't think is a great lesson for our children in grade school. It sounds like bullying to me. But we got to that point, and then finally, Bill Cook stabs me the last time, and I hold the rubber knife, and I've been stabbed between the ribs. Now, I was just supposed to say, "You too, Brutus," you know? But I was kind of a method actor back then, and I thought, if you got stabbed between the ribs by a bunch of guys, I think you would be in pain. So I dropped to my knees, and I went, "Ah, oh, wow, that really hurt. Ah." I thought this would be the most dramatic, most traumatic thing anybody had ever seen on stage in my hometown, but people started laughing. It wasn't funny at all, and I liked the laughter. It was like a drug. I wanted more. And I thought, this Shakespeare guy, he's pretty good with the drama part, but I think his comic chops are a little rusty. So I started hamming it up. I was on my knees. I grabbed Bill Cook's nightie, and I said, "Wow, all the guys here, you too, Brutus? Wow." And then I fell on the floor and started flopping around like one of the Three Stooges after they get hit on the head with a monkey wrench, and I'm flopping around, and it was great. The crowd was cheering, I had laughing, and I couldn't stop. I mean, they were asking for more. It would be wrong to stop. This went on for minutes. Well, might not have been minutes, but it was longer than it should have, but I didn't care. This was Julius Caesar's big moment, and the play is called Julius Caesar. It's not called Brutus. It's not called Mark Antony. It's Julius Caesar. So finally, I flopped down on my back with one of my legs straight up in the air and gave my final breath that went something like this. Thud. The crowd cheered. I'm like, you know what? Really, this play is over at this point. All the PTA, everybody should just go to the dessert table. Julius Caesar's dead. I don't think anybody's going to follow that, But we finished the play, and the crowd loved it. My mom was so happy. My dad went and waited in the car. And I think about that now. I've been an actor for almost 40 years, and I think about how embarrassing that is, what I did. And what I'm embarrassed about is that I missed the out. I mean, the button on the scene. I mean, after I died and finally my leg hit the ground, I should have jumped up and said, "I did it my way." Thank you. And on that note, we're going to take a 10-minute intermission. We'll be right back. You guys go do what you do on the live stream. We'll do what we do here, and we'll be back with some important messages and some more music. Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Rick. We're having a great time. Is everyone having a good time? It's a very interesting pair, a husband and wife, and how they can move back and forth between instruments. And you may notice how smoothly Laura moved to the piano. Laura Hall is the pianist on that wonderful show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? And there are reruns on channels all over the place, so check her out on that. Okay, well, for those of you who didn't get up and get a drink or go somewhere in your house, we have a couple of announcements, and then we're going to interview our good friend Andy about what's been going on in his life. We have our auditorium shows coming up. The first one is January 22nd at the Redondo Union High School Auditorium, and that is going to be from 7 to 9. And we're very honored to have our good friends Andy and Renee and their band Hard Rain. They're going to play that night. They were queued up to be our performers last April, and unfortunately we had to cancel them. So we're really excited about them being there that night. You can go on our website, sbconcerts.org, click on the buy tickets. If you just want to come to their show, each ticket is $30. But if you also want to get the second show in April, A ticket for both shows is $40 for both shows total. And our show is April 9th by a bluegrass band called Hot October. And it's like a 5-piece band, and they are great. If you're into bluegrass, please check them out. And if you just want to come out and have a good time, support the organization and enjoy music and be out in public in person, please do that. So those shows are January 22nd on Saturday and April 9th on Saturday next spring at the Redondo Union High School Auditorium, our home base. So why don't we have Andy come up, and we'll have a brief chat. Just stand right here, sir. So as you know, 2 weekends ago, Andy and Renee were mired in music heaven at their 31st annual Dylan Fest show. And perhaps you could tell us a few words about how it was, Andy.
Well, it was our 31st, which means we'd done 30 before that. Last year's was a
math whiz.
That's right. Last year's was online, which was quite a challenge, but I had a lot of instruction from my partner, the California Cupcake, Renee Safier, and we figured out how to do it. So it was wonderful to be back in the live situation with all our friends. We played about 61 songs, which basically scratches the surface of the Bob Dylan canon. Lots of songs we didn't do, so we'll do it again next year.
Now, I had the opportunity to come to the show and watch the last couple of hours, and the crowd was rocking and enjoying it. And I think there were even some rocks thrown around it. So tell us a little bit about the tomfoolery at the show.
Well, you're referring to the song Rainy Day Women. A lot of people don't know the title, Rainy Day Women, number 12 and 35, but they know the chorus, which is, everybody must get stoned. And so about 25 years ago, a light bulb went off, and we got all our friends to carve about 1,000 foam rocks, which we take out in big plastic bags and distribute amongst the fans, and they pelt each other with them for the first 30 seconds or so, and then the rest of the 5 minutes of the song becomes Pelt the Band.
I see. And let's give a round of applause for our own board member, Kathy, who helped pass out those foam stones. Thank you, Kathy. Now, at our last show, we interviewed Renee about what it's like here in Studio 32 and to put on 100 shows. And perhaps we could get some comments from your perspective, and especially what it's like for you to be just the technicians in your studio when other people are performing.
Well, our first love is performance, but it's really fun to get on the other side of the board and the camera and kind of sharpen those skills. Learning that stuff was a real pain. It was real stressful, but you know, now we've got a new set of skills, and that's fun. And 140-something live streams, and now, thanks to you, we're doing a few from the other side, and that's been a blast, too.
Wonderful, and we certainly hope there's more of that. So anything you'd like to say about your upcoming show on January 22nd?
Well, we've got some surprises in mind, so it would be untoward of me to reveal that at this early stage. But I will say that we have a new album out. It's called The Wheel and the Plow. It's 10 Bob Dylan songs, and maybe we'll do a cut or two from that.
Oh, that sounds good, and that'll go right in with the farming talk we've just heard tonight from our friend Rick. Okay, thank you very much, Andy. Enjoy teching the rest of the show, and we'll talk with you soon. And the halls are going to come back in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to repeat again that you can go on our website at sbconcerts.org, where you can see all kinds of information about the shows we're putting on for a live stream and the auditorium shows coming up, and how to buy tickets. And this year we're introducing a new feature. For most of our history, we've done the old checkbook, check, and envelope policy, where you write your check down, you send it in, that's how you do your subscription. The South Bay Concert Association is moving into the digital world, where we're not requiring you to buy a ticket online, but we allow both. So you can buy your tickets online, and when you click on that feature, it'll send you to the Eventbrite page, where you'll be able to put in your information, pull out your credit card, and pay for the tickets. But if you want to buy tickets, you can still write out a check and mail it in, and our P.O. box is on the website. And there's now information on both Andy and Renee's band and Hard Rain and the Hot October that you can view. So I think we may, the band will be coming back in a minute or two. That's all I had to tell for you. We'll see you after the show, where we're going to interview the band and ask them about some of their upcoming projects. So please enjoy the rest of the evening.
Laura's acoustic down in my monitors just a little bit, please. Thank you. That's letting the live stream people at home see behind the curtain just a little bit what's going on up here. Okay, am I the only one that thinks that Andy looks a little bit like a young Kurt Russell?
Oh, have you gotten that before? Yeah? Yeah.
You're
that's
very
good.
handsome. You're a very handsome man, though. I like you. You look good. Yes. Hi, we're back for the second act. How's that? Second
We
set.
are, look at, officially. Before, when we were tuning and stuff, that wasn't part of it. But now we're back. Yeah, are you feeling ready, Luke? Luke has a little adjusting to do. He's going to play an instrument called cajon, which is like this box that he's sitting on, and it's a percussion instrument. It's great for an acoustic setting like this. All right. All right, so here's a cheating song I wrote. Again, it's not about him.
I hope not, for crying out loud.
No, it's not about me either.
Oh, I
It's
never-
about a friend.
Yes.
Everybody,
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 everybody else knows what you've been up to. Everybody,
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 everybody knows but me. Well, the teller at the bank ain't telling. She won't even look me in the eye. Even the checker at the IGA, she knows something, but she ain't gonna say. She knows something that she ain't gonna say. Everybody,
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 everybody, everybody else knows what you've been up to.
everybody,
Everybody,
everybody.
everybody, everybody knows but me.
When were you planning on catching me and telling me the truth? 'Cause word's gotten around this two-bit town, and the truth is catching up on a telephone pole, looking down at everything below. She takes flight off into the night. Her shiny black eyes see through your lies. You can't disguise your false alibis. You can't deny or justify. Hear her cry as she flies. 'Cause everybody else knows what you've been up to. Everybody knows what everybody knows. Everybody else knows what you've been up to. Everybody knows. Even me. Thanks. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, yes.
Because some guy telling a story might have moved it
Who
up
is a
a little.
little bit taller.
Right.
All right, but now I'm moving anyway. But
That's right.
I'll be back to this mic later.
That's right. So we have 2 daughters, and
Wait, we're not there yet.
I know, I'm telling a story. Hey, don't you tell me what to do in front of our friends and a live stream. No, actually, let me say, we have friends that are watching all the way from the Midwest that don't know this is the South Bay of California. So it's kind of cool that they're here too. That's what the
is.
live stream can do, Laura.
I know, and even like you can have international people
Say
watching.
hi to Sharon Butch Freeland.
Sharon.
Butch
Oh, Sharon Freeland. Oh, hi Sharon. How are
Where's
you?
Sharon?
She's in Jacksonville, I think.
Oh,
Jacksonville.
excellent.
Well,
And
I'm
I've got
pretty sure-
family in Chicago who's watching.
yeah, well, I think we're talking about
Dawson is watching.
Maria Dodson.
And she's in Northern California.
And Carol Dickinson.
Oh, Carol
that's
from
great.
Chicago, where he
Yeah, Carol, come on.
used to ride bikes with Pro Bikes and Likes. They had a bike shop. I know you guys don't want to hear that. I'm telling it for Carol. What?
So repeat what I say, but Mike Tom Naughty wants to know when Rick became Phil Donahue.
Mike Tognotti can actually get
Well,
online
wait,
and make
but he wants to know when Rick became Phil Donahue. So what's your answer, Rick?
I don't know. What, do you have an answer, Laura?
I
Hall?
don't have an answer.
I didn't know I was Phil Donahue. Mike, why don't you just give a donation to the to Eventbrite
Yeah.
and pay for your sins right there, buddy.
All right.
Shift gears a little
Yes.
bit here.
So here's a song I wrote during the pandemic last summer. When there was a lot going on last summer, wasn't there? Not, a year ago summer. There was the pandemic, there were fires, there was so much social unrest, so much political unrest, and it just felt to me like we were kind of falling apart as a country. And it was sort of a like, what's going to happen next? With so many things going on. And what I felt like was sort of at the core of it was that it felt like we lost the ability to talk to each other about important things anymore. And that the only way we're going to see our way out of our messes is if we figure out how we can talk to each other. So that's what this song is about. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're all holding our breath, waiting to see what's next. Cynical and stressed, we never could have guessed this would be how it would all play out. Full of fear and doubt, when we open up our mouths, we're yelling loud, even when we don't know what we're shouting about. Now we have become imprisoned by our own division. Can we talk to each other even when we disagree? Talk to each other, you and me. Can we treat one another as we want Sirens wailing over the hill. We're waiting, waiting still, wondering what will become of all our worries that fill our nights with bad dreams. Nothing is as it seems. All these mad schemes reduced to memes and endlessly repeating themes. The ground is shifting out from under our feet. We lost a place where you and I meet. Can we talk to each other even when we disagree? Talk to each other, you and me. Can we treat one another as we want to be treated? We won't be defeated if we talk to each other, you and me. Let's stop calling each other names and let's stop pointing fingers and blaming. We can't agree or disagree. That doesn't mean we have to be enemies. Can we talk to each other even when we disagree? Talk to each other, you and me. Can we treat one another as we want to be treated? We won't be defeated if we talk to each other, you and me. We gotta talk to each other and love one another. We gotta talk to each other, you and me. Thanks.
You know, I've never told you this, but the sirens wailing over the hill, we would sit in our backyard, and when riots were happening and stuff, we'd just hear sirens going. It was so eerie to hear those going all night long. That's the line that sticks out for me.
That's what inspired that line, and then inspired
Well,
the whole
I know
song.
that. I'm just telling you, I relate to what you've done, baby. Okay.
Thank you. All right. Okay, here's another one. This is brand new. This is actually the first time we've ever played it in public. So it's a world premiere. It's about my mom, and then me, and then my daughters. But I had to combine my daughters into one daughter to fit into the rhyme scheme. So just imagine it's both of them. It's called Restless Mother's Daughter. 1, 2, 3. I've got this picture, I'm the baby on her hip, sunlight sparkling on the water. She is laughing, her hair is blowing. Thank you. And I didn't even cry.
I was sitting over there and I almost cried. That's
You know, some people can cry when they sing and they look beautiful. And when I cry when I sing, like my nose is all red, it's horrible. It just, yeah. Well, we're going to bring, speaking of surprises, we're bringing up a special guest. We have Andy.
You know, it's got to be hard when you're such a talent. You guys are both such talented musicians, and then you have to sit there and not. I wanted you to come up and sing at one point, Renee. But we'll settle for having Andy sit in with us, really.
Yeah, we'll settle for Andy. Did you need that? Is that you? No.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Okay,
So-
I just want to say this about Laura's labor.
So this is a song about babies. That's why he's going to talk about labor.
Laura was in labor for 32 hours, but
Yep.
having our first baby.
Yes.
Yes, and actually, at one point, she said, she took me by the hand and she said, "Rick, just take me home. I'll come back home. I'll come back to the hospital tomorrow and finish." And
Like I could just leave my labor there, go home and rest, come back. Yeah.
and I was not going to tell her no, so I said, "I'll go ask the nurse." And then I came back and said, "The nurse said you couldn't, honey."
So this is a song about babies, but it's not about labor.
No. Oh, sorry.
1, 2, 3.
Hearts melt when you give us a smile.
Heaven sent you
Here on angels' wings.
now that you've arrived.
The party's in full swing. Baby, baby, how'd you get so fine? You came from mere mortals, but you turned out divine.
Baby, baby, how'd you get so loud? That city lights would make an opera singer proud.
Your superpower is your innocence.
When you look at us,
We got no defense.
baby, baby, how'd you get so hip? You got the whole world in your tiny little grip.
Baby, baby, how'd you get so cool when all the rest of us are such a bunch of fools?
Just guessing,
Like our parents did.
we're trying to learn the lesson.
You'll have to teach us, kid.
Baby, we're always gonna love you.
Baby, 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 baby. Goo 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 gaga, goo goo gaga, goo goo gaga.
you. Oh, thank you so much, Andy. That was great.
Wow, that was fun.
That was really fun.
I want to do some thank yous. First, Renee and Andy, thank you for running this, making sure everything happens. And if we ever come back here again, we will have you guys sitting in where there's way more.
And you guys are like spinning plates and juggling, and there's like so much going
And
on.
she delivered a
behind the
baby
scenes.
during the song. So. Right. Laura and I would also like to thank our friend Luke Hannington.
Oh my gosh.
Luke is actually has a doctorate in music. So like if suddenly, we need the pads changed on a saxophone right now, he's a doctor, he could do it. So, thank you, Luke. No, he's not that
He
kind
could
of
deliver a piccolo.
doctor.
Thank
Quick,
you.
we need a piccolo stat. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Laura Hall.
Thank you.
And I'm her husband.
And yes, and this is my husband, Rick Hall. Yes.
Actually, once Jeff said that Laura was on the show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Once we got an intro where the guy said, and Laura, she's on that show, Who's It, What's It? We're like, excellent.
Close enough.
Not bad.
All right, get your
Oh,
bass
I
on.
need to get my bass.
We have just a couple more songs. We want to thank you so much for being here live and in person and smiling back at us. Yay! And we also want to thank everyone online for tuning in. It's just, it is so nice. That is one of the pluses, is that now we can connect all over the country, even all over the world. Rick and I were teaching during the pandemic, and one time we had students all in Buenos Aires, and another time we had students in the Philippines, out east. It's just so, in a weird way, we've been more isolated, but we've also kind of become connected too. Yeah.
I forgot to thank, and the most important thank you of the night is South Bay Community Concert Association.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for having half of the audience, their name begins with an M. So,
So here's another song of mine. This one is about how easy it is for us to hang on to bad things that happen, and we hang on to them like they're something special or important. And sometimes we miss the happiness because we're so busy hanging on to the sadness. One, two, three, four. Happiness slips through my fingers like so many grains of sand. But my bitterness, it lingers. I got it right here in my hand. I got a black pearl, 'cause I can't let go of all this hurt. So I polish it nice and slow. I take it with me wherever I go, my black pearl. I've been working for years on this, till I got it shiny and smooth. either me or you. I got a blackbird, 'cause I can't let go of all this hurt. So I polish it nice and slow. In the end, it's all I got left to show. My blackbird. Got a black pearl, 'cause I can't let go of all this hurt. So I polish it nice and slow. In the end, it's all I got left to show. My black my black Thank you. Thank you. Well, we have one more, and again, thanks. We're so grateful for this opportunity to be here and sharing this with you. Yeah, you know, performers want to perform, right? We got, and so it's so lovely to have the opportunity. Thank you again, Jeff, for thinking of us.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Actually, you're going to be back for another one. You'll be
Yes.
doing the improv thing in a few
Yeah,
weeks.
in a month. Yeah.
Wow, double dipping.
I'm double dipping
Double
here.
dipping Laura.
So that would be November 5th is the date. I'm going to be back doing improv with some friends. So yeah, I get to double dip. I get to be back. So here's another love song. It's probably my most highbrow love song. Actually, this one is about him.
Now I got to think about the lyrics.
No, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's about, there's all these songs about falling in love. There's not many songs about being in love for a long time, right?
Which we have been,
Which we have
baby.
been, yeah. We've been together a long time. And then also love in the bigger picture of loving your neighbor, all that stuff. And, Rick referenced Julius Caesar earlier. This one references Romeo and Juliet. So this is a very highfalutin show.
Right.
Really
It's
quite-
just high class,
It's
everybody.
highbrow, yes, exactly.
Hang on, it's high class.
All right, we ready?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3. Even Romeo and Juliet, if they had not succumbed to the poison and the dagger, and they'd lived on, even with their perfect love, they would have faltered at times. What with those in-laws bickering and those babies crying, it's hard enough to love the ones you choose, much less get those Capulets to love those Montagues. 'Cause love ain't always easy. this old world. It's the only thing we got in this old world. In every holy book, in every language, everywhere, God tells us to love the ones that no one else seems to care about, even the people who do not understand. They might live across the street or in a far-off land. It's hard to live by that golden rule, whether you're a prophet, a poet, or a fool, 'cause love ain't always easy. Truth is, love takes hard work, but it's the only thing we got. It's the only thing we got. It's the only thing we got in this whole world. It's the only thing we got in this whole world. Here we go. Well, love ain't for the faint of heart, the selfish or the weak. So hang on to your paddle, 'cause we're headed up the creek. Love ain't always easy. Truth is, love takes hard work, but it's the only thing we got. It's the only thing we got. It's the only thing we got in this whole world. It's the only thing we got in this whole world. It's the only thing we got in this whole world. Thank you so much. Thanks again. Oh,
Boy, what a versatile three-piece band. I think we got 9 or 10 instruments going on there tonight.
do.
Yes, we
And
do.
Luke's playing 8 of them.
Now, folks, this is where the audience participation comes into play. Normally on a gig, the performers run off stage, right? And everyone screams more, and then they run back on. But if you could see all the cables in small space, we're going to help them out. On the count of 3, everyone's going to close their eyes for 5 seconds and pretend they ran off stage and come back, okay? 1, 2, 3. They're back with an encore. Can you believe it?
Look at that.
Yes, and not only is there a song, but rumor has it that Rick is going to say a word about his podcast and maybe give us a minute or two of a short clip of another story he's thought of that he didn't get to do tonight. What do you guys think? You guys want to hear another story?
Wow.
But
Yeah.
let me get out of the way.
Don't block my
The
camera,
halls.
dude.
You're in his light.
I do have a podcast called So Says Rick, and says is S-E-Z, so you can look it up, So Says Rick. But it's really turned into a podcast for Laura and I, because we
We have banter.
do. I was going to say you were my Ed McMahon, but I don't think that's a compliment.
Yeah, it's not really.
No,
It's
no.
not. I'll be your Andy Richter. That's a little better.
Andy Richter's better. But anyway, so we have a podcast, so you can look it up. And every episode I tell a story. I've had a couple guest storytellers, but I tell an original story. And about my journey from pig farmer to actor in Los Angeles. I'm not going to tell a whole story, because if I get going, then the show will go very late. I will say this, though. Well, okay, we have 2 daughters, and they went through a period when they were teenagers when I couldn't do anything right. No matter what I said, I'd say, "Hey, we're going by Wendy's. You girls want to get a Wendy's?" And they go, "Dad, that's sexist." I go, Wait, you're girls. You're girls, so I called you girls. I mean, no, it's just, okay. So, you know what? I don't know what you're going to get, but I want a chocolate. I want a chocolate. You can get a vanilla if you want. Dad, that's racist. I'm like, no, it's chocolate. It's not. And finally, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a small one just because I don't want, I'm getting a little heavy. Dad, are you body shaming now? So, if you've had teenagers, you know everything.
Yeah.
And I have a whole story about the time where I went to my daughter's middle school to do a little work at her dance studio, broke a pipe, and flooded the whole dance studio when she was in middle school. It's called Water on the Dance Floor. Listen to that. Let's sing another song.
Let's do another song. Thanks again, everyone, for being here.
Well, you can sing. I think they can sing along with this.
Yes, you probably know this one, so feel free to sing along. 1, 2, 3, 4. You keep saying you got something for me, something you call love, but then confess you've been messing where you shouldn't be messing, and someone else is getting all of your best. Well, these boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. You keep lying when you ought to be truthing. You keep losing when you ought to not bet. You keep saying when you should be changing. What's right is right, and you ain't been right yet. Well, these boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. These boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. You keep playing when you shouldn't be playing. You keep thinking that you'll never get burned. But I got me a brand new pack of matches. And baby, he's got something you ain't learned. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right, another round of applause for Rick and Laura Hall and Luke.
And Luke Hannington.
Now, before you guys go away,
There, I want to be in the shot. Don't cut me out of the shot. Okay.
All right. Housekeeping.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So, just wanted to say thanks again, and wanted to ask you guys a couple questions about maybe some projects you're working on. Now, you mentioned earlier that there were some shows you were doing and maybe a videotape series. Is that on your website? Where can they find that?
Laura's got some great stuff coming. I mean, I've got the podcast. And
Right.
by the way, the last episode of my podcast is a really kind of dramatic story. It's not a funny one. And it was a hard one. Yeah, I know. You expect me to do funny, but it was a hard one to write because it's a story about something that happened at a park in Chicago where I ended up having to call 911 for somebody. And it was pretty dramatic. It was a hard one to write because some of the funny ones, they just roll off your tongue, you know. But that one, anyway, I think I've talked about that enough.
Yeah. Can we get back to the funny stuff?
Right. Bringing the crowd down, Rick.
Now, you have a video series or some
Yes.
things you've been teaching. Could you tell us a little bit about
Yes,
that?
so I just launched an online series that teaches people how to do what I do on Whose Line, how to do music for improv comedy. And yes, and I'm very pleased with the launch. I've got people going through the course, and it's really fun and interesting to have them do it. I've taught in person a ton, but this is a new way of teaching for me. Again, another pandemic project.
Yeah, and you know what? Laura actually had a student tell her last weekend on a Q&A. She said, "I have learned more doing the first few lessons of your class than I have at 3 years of playing for an improv group." So I'm like, Laura,
like,
you're doing
yeah.
important work.
That's excellent. So go on their website and check that out.
So
and,
it's
and Luke, how about you?
laurahall.com.
What other projects might you be working on?
I'm, in case you're interested, putting a fantastic pop song every week on YouTube. If you look up Luke Hannington, my new song, top-notch pop songs, many in sonata form.
Wonderful. How do you spell your last name?
Hannington, the only correct way.
All right, the correct way and pop songs. Very good. I'll
How
check
many have
Luke
you
out.
done, Luke? How many of those pop songs?
Well, we're up to 40 this year. There will be 52 before the end of the
Yeah.
year.
A
Fantastic,
song a week.
one a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And during the pandemic, I was thrilled if I changed my T-shirt. you
That's
know?
right. And one last question. Understand you're doing a project upcoming at the Pasadena Theater. You want to mention that, Laura?
At Pasadena Playhouse, I just got hired. I can talk about it now. There's a new musical there called Head Over Heels, which features the music of the Go-Go's. And I got hired to play in the band and conduct, which I'm super excited about. I was a huge Go-Go's fan. I saw them open for the Police in 1982. And it was right before their big album came out. And I was like, who are they? And then I went, oh my gosh, they are so awesome. I wanted to be them. So I'm really excited, and I'll get to meet them. So it starts in November. I can't remember the exact date.
But it's called Head Over Heels.
Head Over Heels.
And it's at Pasadena Playhouse.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the features that we have at the South Bay Community Concert Association. This year, we're doing local talent, and look at the wonderful things our performers are involved in. The Southland here is just rich with performers, and actually, last April, I was driving home from Weed, California. I had visited my younger sister, and then I stopped in Clovis, California.
You name dropper.
Right.
wow.
To visit my cousin, and it occurred to me, hey, maybe we can put on some live stream shows. So I first called Laura, and then we called Andy and Renee, and then we called Shuli Cowan, who runs a show called Opening Night, the musical comedy. And next November 5th on Friday, Shuli and Hillary, who were in that cast of Opening Night, will be here with Laura to do musical comedy and improv games. It's hysterical. Definitely register for that free show. Well, that is going to wrap it up for tonight. Again, visit our website, sbconcerts.org, to buy tickets and learn about free shows. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you very soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
That was fun. Thank you, guys. You guys.